Boxing aficionados, what's up? What's going on? Yo, check this out. I'd like to talk about a fight that, well, quite frankly, nobody's talking about, as I usually do. But it's a match that I think would be aesthetically pleasing and would make a whole lot of sense for the fighters involved. And in my opinion, I think that it would be the type of fight that would go a long way into establishing a superstar amongst the two. That fight and the combatants are, and the combatants are William ZEPEDA against Raymond MURATALLA. What a fight. I'm looking at that fight as something that could be infinitely entertaining. And it would make sense for both fighters because both fighters have a common opponent. That opponent being Tevin Farmer. And both fighters struggled with Tevin Farmer. Although I would say that William ZEPEDA struggled with Tevin Farmer more than Raymond MURATALLA did, because by the end of the fight, Raymond MURATALLA did figure out Tevin Farmer, almost had him up out of there. But nevertheless, Raymond MURATALLA did have the benefit of getting Tevin Farmer basically right off the couch, because Tevin Farmer had been out of the ring, I don't know, quite a while. It was at least a year and a half, but he got him right off the couch. Plus, it was Tevin Farmer's, I believe it was his first fight at 135. So Raymond MURATALLA had those advantages on Tevin Farmer, struggled with him, did end up winning the fight and almost getting him up out of there, while William ZEPEDA got a Tevin Farmer who had already been more active, right? Because he had just fought MURATALLA. I don't know if he had a fight after MURATALLA and then fought ZEPEDA. I'm not sure, but whether he did it or did not makes no difference, because he did have a fight against MURATALLA, and he was already acclimated to 135. So he got a better version of Tevin Farmer. And I commend Golden. I know people are kind of like, especially Steve Kim, he a little bit critical about the necessity for a rematch between William ZEPEDA and Tevin Farmer. I'm all for it, because you gotta clean things up. You can't just beat somebody and struggle if you're supposed to be on your way to be a superstar. Beat somebody, scrape by him, have a controversial ending to the fight, because some people thought Tevin Farmer won the fight, and not go back and clean that up. So I commend Golden Boy for making the rematch. It's a fight that for William ZEPEDA makes sense, that he gets acclimated to a Tevin Farmer if he is in fact looking to fight Shakur Stevenson down the line. Get used to the southpaw, the craftiness, the slickness, if you will. And so I'm looking forward to that rematch being made. As far as MURATALLA is concerned, should ZEPEDA beat Tevin Farmer, I would say that I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued as to how would MURATALLA handle a William ZEPEDA. I am personally of the belief, probably, maybe, some people might say, might be a bias, because I like Raymond MURATALLA. He's one of the kids that I have seen develop one of the top-ranked kids that I see develop over time. William Zepeda, I've seen too. I was very impressed with the first fight he fought under the Golden Boy banner, where he actually beat one of their preferred prospects. He wasn't the house fight, and then from there was when he got elevated to prominence, to being, touted. So I am of the belief that Zepeda is a fighter that is tailor-made for Muratalla. I think that Muratalla would pick him apart. I think that Zepeda likes to come forward, volume punching, punches very hard. But in that scenario, that would fit Raymond Muratalla just fine. Because Raymond Muratalla is very slick. But he needs a fighter to come to him, And I think he would parry his punches, get in the way and pick his spots and hurt him. He'd see the open. He'd probably get caught and hurt him. But you know what? That kind of contradicts. I'm making it sound like it would be easy. It won't be. Thus is why I believe that it would be an action fight that would be intriguing. And because if a fight is easy, then is it really intriguing? Was it really a classic? No, it's not. But I think that Muratalla would prevail and would ultimately stop William Zepeda. William Zepeda would have his moments, of course, but I think that Muratalla would prevail. But that's neither here nor there. The point is that I think it's a very aesthetically pleasing fight that I would like to see and nobody's talking about, because boxing fans don't really want to see boxing matches per se. They just want to see big names and big fights and not really pay too much attention to anybody who's not pay-per-view worthy, or big event worthy. But these are those types of fights are the ones that are the backbones of careers, man. And to tell you the truth, so if Muratalla beats, if Zepeda beats Tevin Farmer, would he take on Zepeda next? If Zepeda beats Tevin Farmer, would he take on a Muratalla next? Probably not, because it's not a unification. So their fight would be something that have to take place down the line. I know Turkey Alex Sheik is very interested in making a Zepeda Shakur Stevenson fight. They're already on the zone. But the only thing in the way of that, or why Muratalla is not there yet, is just because he doesn't have a belt. That's why this guy, Vasily Lomachenko, needs to shit or get off the pot. Are you retired or not retired? I mean, you're a great fighter and this and that, you're Baryshnikov in boxing gloves, but you can't just sit on a belt, And so if you're too hurt to fight, retire. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the IBF gave him a whole 10 months to come back to fulfill a mandatory when he's already been off for a year. So they gave him an additional 10 months, okay? Because in the meantime, in the tween time, I really do feel that he's looking to do a unification versus Gervonta Tank Davis. That's a big money fight. That's a big event. And, I think that Gervonta Tank Davis would take a fight against Vasily Lomachenko in a unification instead of a rematch against Lamont Roach, because even though the Lamont Roach fight, it was controversial and it's a draw, the money would pale in comparison to what a Vasily Lomachenko versus Gervonta Tank Davis fight would generate. I mean, we've been waiting for that fight for a long time, and it'd be the perfect time for Gervonta Tank Davis to fight Vasily Lomachenko. He would take that fight now. He ducked him when he was at 130, and Lomachenko was in his prime. But right now, why wouldn't he fight a Lomachenko for bigger money? A Lomachenko coming off a layoff, or Lomachenko who's now been battered and has lost to Devin Haney and has lost to Teofimo Lopez, it greatly diminished, and fighting him at 135 when Gervonta Tank Davis has already fought at 140. So he'd be comfortable in his weight class, and Vasily Lomachenko still really is a guy that could be fighting at 126 or 130. So it'd be the little guy past prime fighting him fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. I think he would take that fight because Gervonta Davis ain't making Ryan Garcia money, the same money he made with Ryan Garcia. And his ability to get those types of fights, paydays, has been greatly diminished because, quite frankly, PBC doesn't have any fighter that anybody wants to see against him. That's why they reached out to Lamont Roach. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. Point is that MURATALLA versus William ZEPEDA is an aesthetically pleasing fight. The only thing that's in the way is that MURATALLA is not a champion yet. Therefore, I don't see Golden Boy moving in that direction, because the bigger money fight for them would be against Shakur Stevenson. But all things being equal, I think they would fight MURATALLA. I mean, I wish that they fight MURATALLA. Anyway, it is what it is. It ain't what it ain't. This is Alexis Rumbero for Boxing Aficionados. Peace. I'm out.